Good day, everybody. This is Michael from JurisQ Legal Network, and I bring you back Alla Kurolapnik, a divorce attorney. Alla, welcome back.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for having me.
Alla, we know that you're a proponent of mediation. We talked so much about how it could alleviate financial toll, emotional toll on such a harsh process. It could be a very protracted process as a divorce. And we, in every session, try to break down and hone in more on different details of mediation in the divorce process. Today, I want to talk to you about violence. Unfortunately, violence sometimes takes place in families, and violence could be a cause for a breakup. It's a very traumatic experience for everybody involved, for the spouses affected, and of course, for the kids. And since you practice mediation, you try to mediate almost every divorce proceeding that you do. I want to talk to you about how violence in the divorce setting could affect mediation.
So domestic violence is certainly a very big topic to discuss for a variety of reasons. There's the psychology of the abuser versus the abusee, right? There's the legal aspect of it, what the New York legislature has done to protect victims of domestic violence. Then you pose a very interesting question. How does that interplay with mediation? And the answer is that the two don't jive, they don't mix. You cannot be in a situation where you're on the same playing field and making decisions when there's domestic violence in your relationship. And the inherent psychological reason is that the abuser controls the abusee. There's power there. And I can go on and on about why, partners stay in an abusive relationship. And that's a psychological factor, post-traumatic factors. There's the, studies have been done on this by psychologists and various, doctors explaining why abused partners stay in an abusive relationship. Likewise, you can't have equal footing to negotiate a divorce if your abuser has the power in that relationship, because it doesn't work. If there's a shift of power and you're not in the same playing field, then you can't have a situation where you're fairly negotiating your future. So one of the big things that we do in all of our mediation cases, and this is training that mediators go through, is we screen potential cases for domestic violence. And if we feel and believe that there's an issue of domestic violence, then what we do is we don't take on those cases for mediation.
So then those cases, to court. It goes in front of a judge.
It's better left, let me put it to you this way, and not because to punish the abuser, because there's different ways of doing that as well. We have a criminal justice system that punishes abusers, right? There's all kinds of things, but it's in those kind of situations, right? It's so much better to allow somebody who has authority to be able to say, you can't do that. Versus the abuser and the abusee making those decisions, because you can't be in a position of no power and say, okay, that's, I agree.
Of course
it just inherently doesn't work. And the law has protection, especially in the domestic relations law has recently been modified to include a provision in one of the factors that the courts now consider in distributing the marital estate. And long before that, there were factors to consider in the maintenance that a spouse is entitled to, right, that addresses domestic violence. So when a judge makes a decision about how to distribute your marital estate and how to address how much and for how long you're entitled to receive spousal support, domestic violence is now a factor that the judges consider. So
Okay,
in
very
those
good.
particular cases, it's much better, in my opinion, to have a judge decide those issues.
And you, as an attorney that, of course, advocate mediation, you're also able to take the same case and actually litigate it in the court.
Absolutely. So as we've
Perfect.
spoken on a number of occasions, my practice is hybrid. I do mediation and I still litigate cases as well. So I do both.
Perfect.
And but
Very
my
good. It's good to
my
have that
preference is
flexibility.
right, exactly, exactly.
And as we also discussed before, if any allegations of, let's say, child abuse come up, that's something that also court could address and refer a case to, you said, an agency that protects and investigates cases of child abuse.
Right. So look, I mean, again, it's the first human instinctual concept to be able to protect your child. So if
Right.
if there are allegations about domestic violence, or if there are allegations of, any kind of abuse, those kind of cases are also likewise very difficult to mediate, because you want to be in those particular cases, I'll advise the spouse or the parent making the allegations to seek out legal advice immediately and to terminate mediation, because first and foremost, you need to protect the safety of that child. And then once you speak to to an attorney, they'll figure out, or the attorney will figure out and help you figure out what the next step to do is. In certain situations, you could call the child services, right? In other situations, you would instruct your client to immediately file for custody, so that you're doing what's appropriate to safeguard that child.
It is so important to act quickly and also to act with advice of an attorney, because whatever steps you take could affect the divorce proceeding.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that is a very good advice that you just gave. Any steps you take, consult with an attorney as soon as possible to have guidance. And we have such guidance from Alla Kurolapnik, a divorce attorney with a focus on mediation. And we're going to bring you back to many more sessions. And we're going to talk more and more about how mediation could affect and help a divorce proceedings. Alla, thank you so much. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Have a great day.